Hello everybody, I'm Dylan, and today we're going to take a look at our least known film yet, Friends Forever. We're slipping back into the past again, being released in 1987 and is a Danish film from Denmark. The film has English subtitles. It was written and directed by Stefan Henszelman and co-written by Alexander Korschen. So Friends Forever starts with our main character, Christian, played by Claus Bender Mortensen, a boy of around 16 and a newcomer to his school. Christian is shy, friendly, but a bit of an introvert. He initially gets frisked by the boys at school, but he makes friends soon enough. He is first friends with Henrik, a somewhat androgynous boy. Eventually, Christian finds a letter in his school bag from Henrik, in which he signs at the bottom, "Love Henrik." Christian is weirded out and starts to ignore Henrik. Henrik asks him a couple of times what's wrong, but Christian doesn't really answer. At first I was a little confused. I thought maybe the Love Christian letter might have been a prank from one of the other boys. But we don't really find out, so we're left to assume that it was indeed from Henrik. So, if you wonder where the story goes from here, well, it doesn't. Henrik gets shipped off to another school and that's it. We never hear from him again. Weird. Christian then becomes friends with Patrick, a macho boy who's a bit more of a bully and a rabble-rouser. They become close friends, hang out together, talk about girls, go to parties, etc. So the story is a bit disjointed in some ways, but it eventually becomes clear to the viewer that Patrick is gay. A couple of men flirt with him and even quickly rub Christian's hair in an odd way. Christian doesn't think much of it and doesn't clue in. But eventually Christian sees his friend Patrick kissing a soccer player on a soccer field with people. Damn, that's pretty ballsy. So Christian finally clues in that Patrick is gay and leaves without saying a word. He has the typical reaction you would expect from the 1980s, "Oh, this isn't natural, blah blah blah." Christian then hooks up with a much older lady, a lady in her 40s, maybe to reassure his heterosexuality? But eventually, true friendship conquers all. Christian becomes friends again and supporter of Patrick, and the film ends in a cheesy, unexpected singing routine. So that's Friends Forever in a nutshell, a film that's not too complex but at the same time a little difficult to explain. Maybe you didn't fully understand my description of it, and that's normal because this is how this film is, a bit disjointed. Some characters who you might think be significant seem to jump in and out without further purpose, like Henrik for example, and that older lady that Christian hooks up with. I do find this film a little fascinating from a historical standpoint. Even though it's from Denmark, I do recognize some of the clothing trends, yikes, and the typical reaction to homosexuals. I was very young in the 80s, but I did see some of it, so this film did take me back to that time. There are things in this film that are treated very casually, that would have people up in arms today. Like, for example, very casual bullying. There's also a scene in a classroom where several boys get on a girl to take off her top, and she's naked from the waist up, and they throw her sweater out the window. She covers herself, embarrassed, while everyone laughs. Wow, I can't imagine that happening nowadays. Can you imagine a bunch of boys in a classroom doing that to a girl? They'd all be slapped with sex offender records, and probably rightfully so. Oh, by the way, not long after, this same girl flirts with Christian, even though Christian participated in stripping her from the waist up in class. Oh well, just another day in school I guess. She got over that pretty quickly. These 80s kids, man, they were pretty tough-skinned. Another controversial scene was the sex scene between Christian and the much older lady. One thing you'll often notice about films before the 2000s are teenage boys and even prepubescent boys hooking up with grown ladies. And it's treated pretty casually and even as a reward or a freebie. Like, yeah, he's only 10 years old and he's got this adult lady flirting with him. He's the man. It's something presented as romantic or exciting. How the hell was this ever a thing? Thank God we've progressed past that. So, to my surprise, the film is surprisingly progressive when it comes to homosexuality. Christian seems to be the only character who's off-put by it, but everyone else seems to be okay with it, which is strange for the mid-80s. I wish I could say the same about the treatment of the ladies though. That is not as progressive here. So this film does touch a few different themes. All themes we've seen in my reviews so far. So probably the largest theme is coming of age. Christian is living life experiences and encounters different people in his life. He's introduced to homosexuals for the first time. He goes through his own struggles, but at the end of the day, he realizes it doesn't matter. Friendship is probably the secondary theme, and a good theme that we've seen in many of my reviews so far. I wish the little side plot with Henrik wouldn't have been nixed. I would have loved to see how that would have played out. Other themes to the film are slight homophobia and sexual insecurity. I say slight homophobia because it's not like Christian calls them names or anything. He just kind of ignores them for a while. And sexual insecurity because Christian does hook up with a couple of girls in the film. Maybe to reassure his sexual orientation, or maybe just out of being a horny teenager, who knows. Friends Forever is rated 6.4 on IMDb. It doesn't have a rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so it kinda indicates that this film is largely forgotten, except I do own the DVD, although it's a rare film to get. From looking at other sites, this film seems to be rated well overall, usually above 60%. So like I said, I do find some intrigue to this film, like how it does general society and or films from different times and handles homosexuality. The film tries its best to trivialize homosexuality, and bullying, and sexual assault. But the question is this film any good and can I recommend it to you? Well, probably not. It's obviously very outdated, the story is a bit disjointed, and the pacing can be a bit slow. The film is pretty rare, so it's probably not worth the effort to seek it out. I give Friends Forever a 5.5 out of 10. It's almost passable, but not quite. I don't think it's as bad as Chuck and Buck, but you can probably skip this one. So, have you seen this film? So let me hear your comments on it. Please give me a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll hopefully see you for the next review.